To shove all these scallops into a smaller pan, as I always do, I'm going to add a small amount of oil, just groundnut oil, and this will stop the butter from burning. Now that the butter has melted and is warm but not smoky, I shall add these plump little scallops. Scallops come in quite a few sizes. I suppose these are somewhere around the middle, and I think about 6 a head is fine, so I've got 12 here. I love the bouncy sweetness of scallops, and actually you might think that the sweetness of peas alongside would be too much, but there's something fantastic about the Thai green curry paste, all that chilli and garlic and lime and lemongrass and other astringent spices. It really adds sourness and a bit of edge. The scallops should need about 2 minutes aside, if that. And when they're cooked, right at the inside, they'll be tender, but still a teeny bit translucent. On the outsides, I want them almost caramelized. And that is why I'm using a slightly bigger pan than these sweet little scallops would seem to need. If I were to shove all these scallops into a smaller pan, they would braise and not fry. These are cooked. And now she'll convey, or attempt to convey, these sweet little fat coins of scallop to the bowls that await. Let them huddle on one side. I'm going to turn the golden, if not bronze juices in the pan into a little gravy just by cutting a lime and squeezing out the juice. I'm not worrying if actual strands of fruit fall into the pan too. For me, that's even better. Just want to make sure I'm deglazing thoroughly, that's to say picking up all those sticky bits of caramelized scallop juice. Still in the pan and over. And here we are, lovely bit of luscious gravy. Right, now it's peas time. I'm going to have a taste first, just to see if it needs any extra salt. Doesn't need anything, except to be eaten. Delicious. But I think a greedy helping of this is all to the good. And just because I've got them here, I'm going to add a few leaves of Thai basil. It's kind of more licoricey than European basil, but you know what? Coriander is just fine too. These can go to my tray for supper. And one last thing, some achingly, gloriously cold beer. The weekend starts here. I wouldn't be able to count the number of times I've given my children pasta with pesto out of a jar for tea, and I'm not embarrassed about it. We all do it. But this Ligurian pasta, pasta alla genovese, is something completely other. Oh, it's fantastic. It's a little bit different. The premise is the same, but when I tell you that you start off with potatoes, just cubed as you can see, about a couple of baking potatoes. They're just tender, yes, potatoes. And then it has the pasta, basil, green beans. I love the convenience of a tub of pesto, but this is different. I suppose it's a bit like the difference between instant coffee and real coffee. There's a case to be made for both, but they are different. And if pesto out of a jar is black and white, this is Technicolor, and what's more, just such full-on fragrance. So the potatoes have had 20 minutes. The linguine will need about 11 minutes. So when I'm 4 minutes away from that, I will add the green beans. So they'll be cooked, but with a bit of crunch. And I cut the green beans in their packet, so it really makes it much simpler. Oh, I don't know why I do it, just so I can do it all in one. I rather like this. It feels wrong and yet good. There we are. May as well park the beans in here. while the linguine cook. Now, although it does sound quite odd to have potatoes, and it may also sound as if I'm giving into, you know, kiddie carbomania, actually it is a Ligurian tradition. And the thing about the potatoes is you can see now that they're beginning to crumble, but by the time the linguine have cooked, the beans have cooked, and my special pesto has been stirred in. In fact, what happens to the potatoes is that they turn into a kind of sweet sludge and help the sauce cover every strand. In with the beans. And while the beans cook, I can get on with the fabulous business of whizzing up a little pesto. Let me bring this in. Oh, stronger than I thought. Now, despite the bucolic appearance, these leaves were not picked in turquoise-skied Portofino, but in grey Battersea. But no matter, they smell fantastic. There's a lot of basil here. A good 2 fat bunches if you were buying from a greengrocer, or else I would say probably 4 supermarket packets. I find it easy to think of this in numbers, and normally I don't, which is to say nearly everything's 100. 100 grams of basil leaves, 100 grams of parmesan or pecorino, it's freshly grated, 1 garlic clove, not 100 garlic cloves, so 100 mils of extra virgin olive oil. Now, the extra virgin olive oil gives that fantastic, deep, almost peppery taste, but I don't want to use all the expensive stuff to whiz it up. So when I whiz, I'm going to add an extra 100 mils of regular olive oil just to help get it emulsified to the right texture. So I am ready for the blitzing. Another 100 mils here, and in a minute this will become as fantastic, almost slightly pale snooker baize green. Now there's one other thing I like to do, and that is add a teeny bit of pasta water now. And I'm going to hive off another bit of pasta water just in case the sauce needs a bit more liquid later. Have a taste of both bean and pasta. Nice and crunchy. I'm not doing this well, but if I can muster up the strength, I am ready to strain this. Now it looks beautiful just as it is. It's going to look even more beautiful. I'm going to give a quick stir to help the potatoes start to break down. And now the pesto. I'm not going to add as much pesto as you might think. The Italians just keep the taste of the pasta there too. They don't drench everything in sauce. And you don't need to with this. It's so super fragrant that actually you want it to keep some delicacy. In with this. Look at the colour. If anything is guaranteed to make my children come to the table promptly, and nothing is really guaranteed to do that, it's the smell of this wafting up through the house. I'm going to add a teeny bit more liquid because there's a lot of pasta here, and I love the starchiness of the liquid as well. It's like a holiday without leaving the kitchen and without the hell of air travel as well. Can you see how the potatoes help that sauce just cling to each strand? Come on, you lot.